Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Cuyahoga County Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee meeting. Janine, will you please call roll?
And just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Byrne.
Here.
Mr. Miller. Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Mr. Sweeney. Present. Ms. Turner.
Present.
There is a quorum.
Thank you, Janine. Real quickly, I'd like to thank Councilman Miller for his patience and institutional knowledge of helping me get my feet wet and a better understanding of chairing the committee. Dale, thank you very much for your assistance. Much appreciated in stepping in and chairing the first meeting last 2 weeks ago. With that, we'll move on to any public comment.
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the February 21st, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Do I need to call roll call on that? No.
You can
Thank
do a
you.
voice vote if you'd like.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Okay, we've got one item on the agenda today. It is R 2024-0082.
Resolution number 2024-0082, making an award on requisition number 13736 to Katz Construction in the amount not to exceed $1,998,321.23 for the resurfacing of Forbes Road from Fair Oaks Road to Richmond Road in the cities of Bedford Heights, and the Village of Oakwood in connection with the 2021-2024 Transportation Improvement Program.
Nicole English with Public Works. So this is an award of a construction contract that we bid, it came in January 8th of this year. There was 7 bids that we received, and they ranged from the low bid that we're awarding at $1.998 million all the way up to just under $2.5 million. The construction engineer's estimate was $2.1 million, so this is under the estimate. We do have federal funding through NOACA to pay 55% of the project. We have issue 1 grant funding to pay 19%, and then the remainder we're splitting with the cities. So 13% to the county, 13% total to the cities, which really ends up being 1% Bedford, a very small piece in Bedford, 2% in Bedford Heights, again, a small piece, and mostly Oakwood, 10% of the funding. So the contractor is Katz Construction. This does not have our county diversity goals because it is federal aid, and so it has a DBE goal that was set by ODOT that they are meeting. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments?
I just wanted to know, could you say that figure, the percentage for the issue 1 again?
19.
And when will this project start?
It will start soon after we get approval. So I would ask for a second reading suspension just to get it started. There was some glitch in the system that it got held up between the award and making it to council. So we would ask second reading suspension, and with the weather being as it is, I mean, they'll start as soon as they have notice to proceed. We've had a really nice winter for construction.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Councilman Miller.
The Chairman, to Ms. English, how long of a construction project is this? When would we expect completion?
I believe this is 1 season, and so they normally give them, until around November to finish up, but pretty much the summer is what's anticipated.
And will traffic be maintained?
Correct. I believe, yes. So this will be a moving operation. So it's 1.3 miles of roadway that we're doing.
And Mr. Chairman, Ms. English, is Katz Construction, is that a local company?
They are out of Warrensville Heights is where they are located.
Okay, good.
May I?
Councilman Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. English or Assistant Director, how would you like to be addressed?
Whatever you'd like to say.
Thank you, Assistant Director. I think I got 3. You said resurfacing.
Correct.
What is that, in just a mill and fill, or?
Yeah, pretty much. They pull it up. If there's any base that needs to be repaired, they'll work on the base and then put back the top.
What about radius of the corners?
So typically, we're not changing anything as far as radius goes, but we do have, because it's federal aid, any curb ramp that's not compliant, we would do anyhow. But ODOT's been pretty strict on replacing curb ramps, so replacing curb ramps along to make sure they're ADA compliant.
Only if they're non-compliant.
Correct.
Okay, through the
But
chair.
no real geometry changes on the road.
I'm so glad I took geometry sophomore year, because I'll come out and check it. Through the chair to Ms. English, what's the difference between our county diversity and equity and the federal government DBA?
So their DBE kind of incorporates everything. So they use a disadvantaged business enterprise, and so that is like small, minority, women is all in one category. They've given an 8% goal. They set that. We typically out of the county would get a much higher goal. I mean, typically out of DEI, we're looking at somewhere between 20 and 30% for a job like this, broken up between the three categories. But because we're using federal funding, they set the goal. We have to use it. We can't trump their
I was just more curious on the
Yep.
difference. And through the chair, 55 seemed odd. How does
It is odd.
Yeah, how does that?
So at the time when the tip was set, the intention is that it's 80% with costs going how they've been going. And we did actually extend this piece in Bedford and Bedford Heights wasn't in the original project, but it made sense to stop where we're stopping instead of stopping short because it ends up going to the interstate. And so when we included that added the price up. So it's kind of like there was a max set on the federal dollars. It was 80% when we started. Now that the price has risen, it's down to 55. So the good part is we then went out and got OPWC to cover almost 20%. So we're now up to 74% of grant funding, close to the 80 that we anticipated to start with. So we still think it's a pretty good deal.
Through the chair, I just want to congratulate you for your thought process in trying to figure out the math to save the county as much money as possible, looking
Always.
for other grant dollars to continue taking care of our county. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Sweeney. Any other questions or comments?
Through the chair, my colleague Sweeney asked my questions about the
Get on the list sooner then.
federal federal DBE goals, but thank you. So that only leaves me to ask through the chair if you would please add my name to this legislation. Absolutely. Thank you.
I have some more.
Okay.
And through the
To the chair.
Oh, go ahead.
Chair to Ms. English, are these cities in the maintenance program?
Yes, everybody,
Three of
this year, the ones that just went out, you guys should have gotten a copy of the letters. If not, I'll be sure you get them. All but one city in the county is receiving maintenance funds this
Hey,
year.
what is the city that's not in?
Our friend Eddie Kraus in Solon did not request any funds, and we did double check with them to be sure, and they had a rationale for why they didn't need any funds this year, but that's the only city that didn't get any funding
And
for the
what was
maintenance.
the, to the chair, what was the score of the roadway?
This is a 63 pavement condition rating when we scheduled the project. So it's likely worse than that now, but it was fair to poor when it was scheduled about 2 years ago.
And the final question, since you stated that the request came in January, who makes those requests when it's multiple cities like that?
The bids came in January. That's what was due. As far as the request, NOACA kind of picked the project because it's going through them. So they picked the project when they did their last round of the TIP. And then we look for county roads that they've selected. And then we kind of go to the cities and say, do you want to partner on these projects? Because we can help share in the cost. And it really makes everybody's money go further. So NOACA is kind of the driver of these projects, the federal aid ones. And then we kind of come in on the ones that are county roads to help the cities out.
Just very briefly, on the dollars that were found after the 55, I want to compliment the councilwoman for advocating for that other 20% because I know it's a council and administrative effort to pull that off.
Thank you, Councilman Sweeney. Anything further? If not,
And we would ask for second reading suspension if possible, just to get the work
a
going.
motion to move this to council for, council as a whole for second reading?
I'll second.
Thank you. Second reading suspension.
Thank you.
Also move.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That's great. Nicole, thank you. Anything with miscellaneous business? Janine? Nothing. Okay. With that, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Excellent.
Gavel.
Aye.
It's official.